In today's video, we are testing out something you may have seen other YouTubers do in the past. Can you make cookies out of the cookie dough in cookie dough ice cream? Well, we're gonna put it to the test.
Today we've got a lot of ice cream, and it's all of the same variety, chocolate chip cookie dough. People have made and tried to make cookies out of the cookie dough in chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream before, but we wanted to see which brand gives us the best cookies. Now, it's not an exhaustive study. We haven't got every brand that we could find, but we got 3 brands of ice cream, and then
I went to the store specifically looking for cookie dough ice cream. Ben & Jerry's just made it so easy for us.
Ben & Jerry's just has it all separated out. You don't have to dig through the ice cream. They just give you the cookie dough in little chunks.
Here's the basic idea. We've seen other YouTubers that have made cookies out of the cookie dough in cookie dough ice cream. Well, we want to see if there's any difference between brands. If there is, which one is best?
So yeah, we've got 4 brands. I think these are all supposed to be decent brands of ice cream. We're gonna go through and try and take the cookie dough out. I'll also be curious to see like what has the highest cookie dough density of the 3 brands. Like,
You want to go through each half gallon?
probably all the cookie dough out of it. And then as a comparison, I also just got some pre-made cookie dough that's meant to be baked into cookies. And this is kind of so we can have a side-by-side, like, oh, compared to this real cookie, how are all 4 of our other cookies? So we've got our oven heated up. Got a nice cookie sheet to bake on. And now I think we need several smaller cookie sheets to spread ice cream out on.
Let's melt some ice cream.
It's interesting to check the ingredients because it has like the ingredients for everything. It's not separating out the ice cream ingredients and the cookie dough ingredients. So you're just reading through ice cream ingredients. You're like, cream, skim milk, milk, sugar, brown sugar, water, wheat flour, coconut oil, butter,
tapioca flour,
egg yolk,
molasses.
Yeah, a lot of those things would not be found in most flavors of ice cream.
I see your plan now.
I had to try that. I always kind of wanted to, but it seemed wasteful usually. There's a lot of chocolatey chips.
Maybe that's why. It's just more chocolatey chips and no cookie. Maybe it's cookie dough flavored?
I mean, here's one piece of cookie dough. I think there's more. It's just kind of blends
Tillamook, you disappoint me.
Disappointed!
This one's got quite a few.
We do want to get as much of the cookie dough out as possible. So to do that, we want to help our ice cream melt a little more. And so I think we're just gonna throw the ice cream in the oven for like 5 minutes, see how melty it gets, and then try and get all the cookie dough out. Obviously the Haagen-Dazs has larger chunks than the Fars.
Yeah, those are
a lot of them.
A lot easier to find. These are tiny little pieces. Still not the weirdest thing we've ever done. I'm starting to be very frustrated with the Haagen-Dazs here. This is so difficult to pull these tiny little pieces out.
Haagen-Dazs has larger ones despite the small container.
Yes.
The Fars with the super strong
flavor and
no flavor, and the very yellow, that's got the tiny little bits. I think this one should be the Tillamook. And it does have considerably more cookie dough bits in it than I originally was thinking. They were wrapped in ice cream and camouflaged really well.
Here is the Fars. Tiny little bits, but a decent amount.
We've got our 4 ice cream cookie doughs.
With
and then
vastly different results.
very different everything, really.
Yep.
And we've also just got some cookie dough. These ones say preheat oven to 325. We'll put them all in the same pan and cook them all at once. But first, of course, I want to test the cookie dough. Do not eat raw cookie dough. It says do not eat raw cookie dough.
Okay.
Mrs. Fields, I want to acknowledge that I am aware that it says that, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Weirdly enough, it's often not like the eggs that are concerned, it's the raw flour. It's fine, it tastes a little chemically and processed because this is not made from scratch cookie dough at home, but not bad.
That one is meant to
Jerry's.
be eaten as cookie dough on its own. So that is different than anything else here.
Everything, well, these are all meant to be eaten raw.
Yes.
In the ice cream.
But I mean, that's just meant to be just cookie dough.
This is meant to be just cookie dough. That's delicious. That tastes like homemade cookie dough to me.
It does.
All right, let's get a blob of Haagen-Dazs. I don't know how to describe that. It kind of tastes like they just added cookie dough flavor to some paste All right, Tillamook, your little chocolate cookie bite. Flavor's not bad. Texture is a little more powdery, like it kind of breaks up in your mouth a little bit more. It's more like cookie dough texture than this, but less than this. They may have concentrated more on the flavor and texture than the ones that are meant to survive in ice cream without deteriorating.
Yes. You'll find that with chocolate and ice cream too, it's usually got, if I remember correctly, more oil in it so that it melts easier. Otherwise, you would just be chewing on little wax, chunks, and it wouldn't be very good.
All right, here's a blob of the far stuff. It's actually not bad.
Okay. I would, just looking at these gauging, I would think that one of these would have been better.
Fairly heavy on the vanilla flavor, although it might be some residue from the ice cream, which as we discussed was very heavy on the vanilla flavor. Like between these two, for example, I think the texture's better here, but the flavor's better here.
Interesting, because out of all of these, this is the cheapest brand.
It might be an intentional thing, that texture with it being kind of powdery, similar with the chocolate. You don't want just like a lump of like, oh, I can't bite through that.
Yep.
So you either have to go soft or breakable. Yeah, normally cookie dough, a big part of it is some kind of fat, like butter. And you have that all mixed in with everything else. Freeze it solid, like it's hard to bite through. So they have to modify it somewhat to make it something you can just eat in your ice cream. Fill the pan with however many of these cookies we want. I'm assuming we want to squish these together into like one cookie dough sized blob, not cook the individual bits.
Yeah, I would assume. Let's make them about the same size as, I would say, Mrs. Fields.
Yeah. With the Tillamook, I gotta say I'm most disappointed with the quantity. Like we kind of only have enough for one good cookie here. These two together is still only about half of this, and it had more cookie dough.
You wash your hands, I'll throw this in the oven. And it is on convection, so I'm not really worried about where it's going in the oven.
We've got a bunch of chocolate chip cookies. Can't eat those without a glass of milk. We've got cookies and sort of cookies.
Which ones of these qualify as a cookie to you?
I think everything except the fars
Really?
qualifies as a cookie. It's not like a great cookie necessarily.
Out of all of these, Ben & Jerry's look like the most perfect cookie.
Those look fantastic. I am at this point kind of curious if we're getting the same recipe as what's in their ice cream. I think they've made edible cookie dough that may not match what they usually put in the ice cream.
It is true. To be fair, they didn't have cookie dough ice cream at the store that day.
They look, I agree, those look like perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have a little bit more rise to them, but that's just like a preference.
Okay, the inside looks very not done yet. Very gooey. I'm not gonna be a good test. I hate cookies.
What?
So these are all gonna be yours, I think.
All right, first I'm looking at the inside of the Mrs. Fields. So it's not like dry on the inside, but it does look cooked and like in a gooey cookie kind of way. Different recipes, different cook times. We tried to guess our best guess by like looking at the surfaces. All right, Mrs. Fields, get a little milk in there.
There you go. Cookie?
That's a good cookie. All right, moving on to Haagen-Dazs. These are very thin.
They
and it
look
looks like
snickerdoodles.
I think all the chocolate has just completely melted like into the dough. It's not like individual chips, it's just kind of like smeared in there. What you're hearing is, I think, a very, very high sugar content that has like
caramelized layer. Yeah.
Not a bad thing.
I actually like that.
Pretty good.
If I am going to have a cookie once in a blue moon, I like that slight bit of caramelization with the chew to it. So
it definitely got the chew.
Nice. If you ate that at a party, would you think that's a cookie?
Oh, definitely. I would definitely think it was a cookie. If I wasn't looking at it, I'm not sure that I would say it's a chocolate chip cookie.
You gotta try Tillamook.
Coming out of the oven, this one looked very soft. It has firmed up somewhat, so maybe it's just one of those cookies that needs a little more time to cool down. Oh, that's a pretty nice break. That's undercooked, definitely.
It's a little bit dry.
If you ate this just while it was hot, like maybe with some ice cream, that'd be pretty good.
Okay, let's discuss what happened to far here.
Yeah, this is like I think they're called like lacy cookies or something.
And those I do enjoy. So I will try this one.
They're basically just caramel with chocolate on the top.
It's just covered in oil.
Not a lot of flavor. The chew, again, of like overworked and maybe burned flour. It's not like, oh, that's gross or anything like that. I wouldn't spit it out. I'd just be like, oh, I probably won't get another one of those. And I'd still finish it. So now we've got our Ben & Jerry's cookie, which, as you pointed out, the inside does look a little on the undercooked side. So it is soft.
Okay.
but it doesn't have the texture of like, oh, that's raw. It's not
Okay.
like the gooey or runny texture. It's just soft.
Okay.
And that's probably to do with the fact that they designed this and created and engineered it to be edible when it's raw.
Yes.
That's not bad.
Okay.
I would not turn that cookie away. If I had a plate of those, I'd probably eat through a few of them.
You can make cookies out of ice cream. We knew that. But for quality, now you kind of have an idea of which one you might want to try this week.
I personally would recommend the Haagen-Dazs. I think that gave the best texture, best flavor, and really turned out a cookie that I have no problem eating. The Ben & Jerry's was also pretty good. I don't know if that counts because it didn't actually come out of ice cream, and I'm not sure that they used the same recipe in the ice cream.
That is fair. Guys, is there any other strange thing that you want to see us do with food in the kitchen? Because it's quarantine time. We need more ideas, please. Guys, that's not all. You know, we've always got more for you to see. And if you like this kind of content, hit that button down at the bottom to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Talk to you then.